Some time ago, I asked everyone for their favorite verse. It's not too late. You can always give it to me now, anytime. But what I intended to do is what I'm going to start tonight, or today, this afternoon, whatever time it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each person's favorite verse one at a time, and I'm going to give a lesson just from that verse. Short, sweet, and hard to beat. And I'm going to start with my wife because she's the most important person in the world. So Jeremiah, and if you don't like that, that's your problem. I didn't ask you. So Jeremiah 29:11. And I've already done all of these for every verse I've been given. And I didn't just do them all at once. They were done over several days' time. And I spent time on each one, thinking about them before I started to write them out. So, short sermonette. Jeremiah 29:11. If you don't know it, you'll get it in a minute. But this is a verse that many, many people find solace in. And why not? It's a great promise from God, and one that we should all know and hold on to. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Now this verse is in the midst of a passage, and I'm big on context. It's in the midst of a passage about what is going to happen when God brings his people back from Babylon. As we continue reading, we see that God is going to gather his people. Is that not what he's still doing today? Gathering his people. He's gathering us. So I do hope you realize that God has plans for you. We need to understand that and believe that. We need to believe that God's plans for us are to prosper and not be harmed. There are plans to give us hope and a future. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart." That's what we need. But along with that faith in God's plan for us, we need to also remember that God's focus is not on this life, but on our eternal lives. That's a very important point. The Bible lists many stories about people who loved and trusted and obeyed God, who also suffered, and some were even killed. God has plans for hope and a future, even if you're going to die today. If we want to know God's plans for us, we need to remember what verse 13 teaches us, that we need to seek God with all our heart. That is when we will find God and when we will learn his plans for us. Without a doubt, his plans for us are an eternal hope and an eternal future. "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future."